October is generally viewed as the month to read horror books, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And indeed, what happens when your TBR has suddenly been put to shambles? Find out in just a moment. Welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads! Yes, hello and welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. My name is Mr. Francy and it is wonderful to have your company again. This is the weekly vlog I am covering from the 9th of October through to the 18th of October. Okay, so very quickly, let's get the elephant that's in the room out of the way, shall we? Yes, I planned on doing daily check-ins. It just didn't work out. So, that is what it is. But I have been doing some reading, so let's discuss it. When we last checked in, I was reading this book, Easy Money by C. Cormissar. This is an adult horror book. I did end up finishing it, and I gave it 5 stars. So for those who missed last week's vlog, this book is book 1 in the Deadly Reality TV series, and I'm absolutely loving it. I've never heard of C. Cormissar before, but this book was exciting from start to end. As I say, I gave it 5 stars. We're basically following a guy by the name of Damon, who is working for a reality channel on TV, and he wants to create another type of reality show, something that people will fall in love with, and he has decided that he wants to create a reality show that revolves around contestants winning money to put themselves in physical pain situations. It was a really interesting book. I loved it. The horror was just the right amount of horror for me, and definitely plan to put the series on my 2025 SAS list. Really did not know this was a series. Thought it was a standalone. So I'm very, very happy and can't wait to read more. 5 stars for this one. The rest of my reading week revolved around this book, Golden Boys by Phil Stamper. This is a YA LGBTIQ plus romance contemporary, I guess. And I finally finished this book earlier today. It took me a long time to get through for many and varying reasons. I ultimately gave this book 3 stars. And let's just first start off by discussing the premise. This is book 1 in the Golden Boys series, I do believe. I'm just going to check again. Yep. Book number 1, the Golden Boys series. Book number 2, Afterglow, is already out. So the premise of this one is Gabriel, Reese, Sal, and Heath are best friends, bonded in their small rural town by their queerness, their good grades, and their big dreams. They're about to embark on the summer before senior year of high school, where each is going on a new big adventure. What will this summer of new experiences and world-expanding travel mean for each of them and for their friendship? Now, I am a huge Phil Stamper fan, but I gave this book 3 stars because it really did let me down. So just going to open up the review by talking about, the one con for this book with me. That again was a really big con. So, multi-perspectives. Okay, now I've read many books over the years. Gosh, this is my 5th year of being on BookTube. And as far as multi-perspectives, multiple POVs, yep, I've done it and not had a problem with it. But in this case, with this particular book, I felt like it being multi-perspective did not work for me. By the time I got to the 4th chapter, so the start of the newest, the 4th perspective, because there are 4 perspectives, I had forgotten who was the first perspective. And then about a quarter of the way through this book, I actually had to write down the names of the characters so that I wouldn't forget them. I also listened to the book on audiobook and was very surprised hearing at the conclusion that there were 4 different voice actors that played the role of the 4 different characters in the book, because they sounded similar to me also. So it wasn't just that we have different characters, the personality of the characters and the career paths they're trying to go down, things like that, definitely very different. But aside from that, it seemed very similar, like especially the voices of the four voice actors sounded very similar. So I was having trouble making differentiations. Honestly, I think that it's a great idea. We have the four boys who are very close in high school. They're going away for the summer. It's going to be the first time that they're either interstate or somewhere internationally and not with each other, physically speaking. And how is this going to change their lives? I'm so sorry. I keep saying that the lighting is changing and I really don't know why. But anyway, so yeah, and I think that's a great idea. And I think that it ended well enough, I suppose, but it's a big disappointment for me because I love Phil Stamper, and this is the lowest rating I've given him. To this point, Phil Stamper's, all his other books, which I've read every single one except the sequel for this one, which I will still read next month so that I own every single Phil Stamper book. But all of his other books that I've read to this point are either dual perspective or singular perspective. So for me, this came from out of nowhere that it would suddenly be a multi-perspective with four characters, and it made it just too confusing for me. I do, as I say, still love Phil Stamper as an author, but it just did not work for me in this book. So do be mindful that if you're going to go into this book, even though it is an LGBTIQ plus male romance contemporary, that there are four main perspectives, not two main perspectives and then a couple of sides. No, there are four main perspectives that we follow. So do keep that in mind. So now on to what I'm reading currently, and I'm currently reading Vanishing Vacationers by Hope Callahan. This is book number 5 in the Millie Cruise Ship Cozy Mystery Series, and I am there, which is 98 pages in. I'm up to chapter 8, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. The basic setup for the series as a whole is that we follow Millie, an octogenarian who, for a laugh, decided to apply for a job on a cruise ship as an assistant cruise director. Well, blow her down with a feather, she got the job. So she didn't expect to. She was just applying for a laugh, and then she got the job. She has no clue why. She feels completely underqualified, and so begins book 1, where a mystery does end up happening. And this is now book 5. I have loved this series so much so far. I have not prioritized with it because during the year, DNF'd the Coffee House Mystery Series by Cleo Coyle and picked this up as a replacement series. I then decided to continue on with the Coffee House Mystery Series by Cleo Coyle, so this definitely was on the back burner a little bit, but I do plan to prioritize with it a heck of a lot more in 2025. I highly recommend this series because we are on a cruise ship, which is so different for a cozy. I love the world building in this book. I don't know if you can say world building for a cozy, but if you can, I love the world building of this book. Everything that builds up the world of this cruise line, cruise ship, and all the things that go on the cruise ship, not just the mystery, but all the things that the cruise ship offers. And whenever Millie goes there, obviously we're following her perspective, we get to see these things, whether it be the band, the theatre company, the foods that they're offering, the other activities that they offer. It's just been an absolute joy for me to read. So in this particular one, Millie ends up getting a new roommate. She had the same roommate for the first 4 books. This is not a spoiler, it's just a side thing, and it may be starting something moving forward, but to this point, it's not a spoiler, it's fine. So she had a roommate, that roommate's now gone, and there is a new roommate that is with her, and she doesn't like this roommate, but we'll see how that does go. Andy, her boss, and the roommate's boss as well, obviously, has told Millie and this other person that there have been, people have been going missing on this island, and they're actually going to be docking on the island overnight for the first time on this cruise. So Millie is very much the type of person that tries to solve mysteries, as any amateur sleuth in a cozy, as we know, does. But in this particular case, her roommate seems a whole lot more excited than she does. It's been an absolute joy to continue reading Vanishing Vacationers. I'm so happy to be back here. And yeah, I will be hopefully finishing this by the time we get to the end of the weekend that starts tomorrow. Okay, now we need to talk about something a little sad. The Ravaged World Trilogy by Ian Rob Wright. I actually planned to have this series on, I think, my January TBR, February, March, April, and it just didn't happen for many and varying reasons. I found out, thanks to Ian, who is not only a fantastic author, but he is really good at getting back to his readers, and I've been in contact with Ian Rob Wright many times, and he always gets back to me really quickly, which I appreciate. So there was an issue on Audible with these books. I predominantly listen to audiobooks, as if you've been here long enough, you'll know that, and if not, welcome. So the problem was that as of late January, early February, I noticed that book 1 was not available on Audible, but book 2 and book 3 were. Then, so I went, okay, that's fine. We'll do, I guess, what we can. Then suddenly, book 1 was not available, but book 3 was, and book 2 was not. And now book 1 is back to being available, but book 2 is not. Book 3 is. So anyway, the whole issue with this is that Ian was telling me that audiobooks expire. I did not know this, but I've done my research. Yes, they do. On Audible, audiobooks expire after 7 years. I don't know what the deal is and how they, I guess that's when the contract is up, so how they renegotiate moving forward after the 7 years. But in this particular case, Ian Rob Wright wanted to have the audiobooks redone completely from scratch. And that's totally fine and fair, and that is how it is. But anyway, I found a platform that had all 3 books as one audiobook. I was really excited to finally get to them. And then I checked last week, and that thing was gone. So now I'm literally back to the drawing board. I'm back to step 1. How am I getting through this series? What am I going to do? So I am umming and ahhing, and I don't have an answer for you, and therefore won't have one for you by the end of this video. The 2 things I'm going between are at least reading this book to see what I think of it, since it is available, and then just waiting on the others. Another option for me would be to not read any of those books and just put them aside for next year, because that's something I forgot to mention. Ian Rob Wright was telling me in our conversation that he doesn't think book 2 is going to be ready till next year. So at least I'm aware of that. With my second option, if I decide not to read any of the Ravaged World books, I'm going to read a new release cozy that I'm interested in. So it'll potentially be the next Secrets and Scrabbles book by Josh Lanyon, or the next, Hayley Palford and Cocktail mystery book by Lee and Hollis. So I do have something to keep me going if I want to. The audiobooks for my other 2 books aren't out yet, but I do believe they won't be far away, and that is the Poppy McAllister and the Amish Candy Shop one. I may have gotten that confused, because Amish Candy Shop and the Haley Powell series are both the next books in that series are both about gingerbread, so I could be confused. I'm getting very annoyed by this lighting, by the way. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I'm just getting really annoyed by the lighting. But anyway, so yeah, I will see what I do. First things first, I need to finish Vanishing Vacationers, and once that's done, that's when I would have been up to the Ravaged World trilogy anyway. So I'll have a think and let you all know in a subsequent video. Let's talk about updates. Personal life update, not really a lot to mention. We're back to my friends this week, so that's why I didn't do the daily clips for this vlog. It was a whole lot of fun. Just got back today, and am absolutely ready to move forward and make my way through this TBR for the month. As for watching, I've been watching so many different things that seriously, it's probably not even worth mentioning, but I will quickly make a point of this here because I've done videos on it in the past, and that is that Big Brother Season 26, Big Brother USA, is now finished and a winner has been crowned. I'm very happy that this season has been put to bed, because I get very into, is a nice way to put it. I get very into Big Brother when it's on. So I become quite intense, like with the show and my thoughts and feelings. And so I'm just glad that it's done. We've put it to bed for another year. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens next year. Very quick, spoiler-free comment. What ended up happening, I kind of called it about a month or so beforehand. Keeping things spoiler-free, so those who have watched it know, and those who haven't, I'm not saying anything to spoil for you, but the 2 people who made it to the end, I wanted the one that didn't win to win. I kind of figured in this situation that the other one would win. I was right. Yeah, so I was a bit disheartened by the way that everything went down. The reunion was good, but gosh, I expected a heck of a lot more given how much conversation revolved, especially around Tucker, and there wasn't a lot discussed with him. I liked that they spent some time talking to Angela, but don't really feel that anything she said was genuine, and that's not trying to be mean, I just don't think it was. Interesting, Rabina seeing that Tucker was the AI instigator and seeing her reaction. Be interesting to see how things are going with them nowadays. But yeah, anyway, just wrapping that up, it was what it was, and I'm glad that we put it to bed for another year. And yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment. I'm just going here and there with shows. I'm really a mood watcher at the moment. Sometimes I'll just watch a couple of episodes of something randomly and then watch a completely different show, a couple of episodes of that. So we'll see. Still have RuPaul's Drag Race to get through. Sorry, still trying to move the camera because I'm really not happy with how the lighting keeps changing. But anyway, so yeah, still got a couple of episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race, not All Stars, Global to get through. We'll see what happens there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just taking things a day at a time. And the lighting has gone again. I mean, well, I don't have time to film another one. So it is what it is. We're going to have to leave this video with all the lighting issues, but I do apologize. All right. So yeah, the plan moving forward this week, regarding reading is to determine what I'm going to do once I have finished Vanishing Vacation. Is if I decide to read Seasick, then of course I will. If I decide not to, I'll read one of the new releases. You'll find out in the next video. As far as TV watching, aside from wrapping up RuPaul's Global All-Stars, I don't have anything scheduled. So you'll probably get a better answer from me on that next week. And that's everything. So I will leave this weekly vlog update there, letting you all go peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.